Welcome. My name is Kevin Asterfell, and thank you for taking the time to go through this presentation for Mesh42, where we ask exceptional questions of your data. If you have any questions or simply want to reach out, my contact information is listed on the screen. And with that, let's get started seeing how Mesh42 can make a difference using your business data. We are now going to go through the Mesh42 method with real numbers so that you can see firsthand how we work. Our first step is cleaning and organizing the data, which luckily has been already done for us and is broken out into marketing channels A to G. Moving to identify what is valuable to the business, we can see over $4 million has been spent on marketing, which certainly qualifies as being valuable. Now, based on what is valuable, we need to formulate the right question. It seems like a good question would be, should any marketing channels be cut off? The next step is having data tell us what technology innovation the business needs, based on the insights derived from asking the right question. It is difficult to gain any insights from the data how it is now, so let's add some formulas and dynamic comparison coloring to help us out. Let's talk about the very important KPI, which is often referenced in business, lifetime value, or LTV. What is strange is that businesses calculate this KPI about a dozen different ways. Each of these columns, labeled 1, 2, and 3, all are considered by some to be LTV calculations. Number 1 is overall revenue divided by customers, and 2 and 3 are revenue minus some expenses divided by customers. Even something as simple as what is considered revenue and what is considered a customer will vary from business to business. For example, we wouldn't consider void transactions as revenue for accounting, but we might just include it in our LTV calculation. Then there's the issue of timing. You see, customers who first made a purchase a year ago will have had more time to spend money compared to a brand new customer who was acquired yesterday. All of a sudden, what seemed like a simple KPI has now turned into something far more complex. The solution is knowing exactly what KPI calculations are best for your unique business. To do that, your KPIs need to be as close as possible to what you really want to know. For example, the number 2 column was showing revenue minus refunds and other fees to get a dollar figure. What the business really wants to know is whether any of these expenses are high or low per channel. The solution is dividing those expenses by revenue to get a comparable percentage, which is the more actionable KPI. We would also eliminate marketing channel A from the report as it represents too small a fraction of the data set, which causes more harm than good when doing comparison reporting. These new columns, upsell percentage, cost per acquisition, and first rebuild percentage, are all standard KPIs for this business's industry. Unfortunately, these KPIs do not make it clear what action needs to be taken. For example, marketing channel C has the most expensive marketing cost per customer, but also has the highest net revenue per customer. G, in contrast, has the cheapest marketing, but also the worst net revenue. The solution is using actionable KPIs, meaning there should be a clear action to be taken once a single KPI crosses a certain threshold. We have now created a KPI of net revenue per marketing dollar spent, essentially evaluating our marketing dollars from a return on investment perspective. This makes it very clear that C looks great and G is the worst marketing channel according to this KPI. Looking at a plethora of numbers, then doing a calculation in your head considering all factors is not part of the Mesh42 method. We believe what you can calculate in your head can always be turned into a formula. So now, if you're playing along, it's time to decide whether any marketing channels should be cut off. G is looking bad, as we've discussed. D doesn't look great, but it's not the worst out of all of them, right? Would we surprise you if we said D is the worst marketing channel, and yes, for sure it needs to be cut off? To understand why, let's look at 2 further KPIs. However, these KPIs use more data than what we've been looking at. Unlike what we've discussed so far, the calculations being shown now are more complex. Essentially, these KPIs are derived from a matrix calculation, which averages the net revenue per dollar for every day of the past, then for each marketing channel, sums up all the differences from the average for each of those days. What these KPIs ultimately tell us about marketing channel D is that it performed $180K less in net profit when compared to what other marketing channels on average proved was achievable on the same days with the same marketing dollar weight. The number to really focus on, however, is the $9.35 less net profit per customer, which is the worst out of all marketing channels, including G. So as to really understand the financial impact, if those same marketing dollars spent on D had been spent on B instead, then the business would have increased net profit by around $377K. This is despite D being in the top 3 for first rebuild percentage, which is the primary KPI used within this company's industry for evaluating marketing spend. This is just one example of the kinds of insights Mesh42 provides to businesses we work with. Problems like these are buried within all companies' data, just waiting to be found. So why is it that businesses are not properly identifying high-level problems like what we just illustrated? And how exactly did we just make the leap from asking the right question to creating a KPI which brought to light a $377K issue? Then reach out by email at kevin@mesh42.com. If you prefer phone, don't hesitate to reach out at 519-994-0093. You can find me on LinkedIn, and don't forget to check us out online at www.mesh42.com. And with that, we look forward to hearing from you. Cheers.